Today's video is about putting a mirror housing back on the truck. When I was running the truck 2 weeks ago, I got forced into a tree and busted the backing off the mirror housing. These mirrors that are on this truck is off of a 95. I made them work on this truck because they're not designed for this truck. And sometimes I don't make videos because I'm thinking, well, this is real simple. Everybody knows how to do this. But it was recently brought to my attention that just because I believe it's simple and that everybody knows how to do this, some people have never done it, so they're not real comfortable with doing it, and they'd like a little bit of instructions. So what we're replacing today is this part. Now, I have done a few things to speed this up. I have already loosened all these screws here up, and those screws mount up there onto that piece right there where you can see those 4 holes. That's where those screws go. Now, to do that, you have to take this piece off. And like I said, I have done a few things to speed this up a little bit. I took most of the screws out of this already. All I got left here is 1 screw. And I've already found what fits these screws to get them off. Now on this type, there's a total of 6. 1 at each corner and then 1 in the center. And those all have to come off and take this piece here off. So what you're left with is this part that goes on there. Now, one thing you want to do before you try and put this on is you need to get the main mirror off, because the main mirror is going to be in your way to be able to screw these screws down, because there's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, and as you can see, they're behind this. Well, there's a little tab right here, and all you do is turn it and the mirror actually comes off. And the wires that you see on here already are for the heated mirror. These 2 go on the other part, this part here, and as you can see in there, there's 2 places for those wires to go onto, but that goes on last. Right now what we need to do is get the housing up here, and those 4 screws I showed you inside the housing, get them to go through these openings, and then that'll be mounted. Alright, I'm gonna pause this for a minute. Now, some of you are probably saying, wait a minute, what are those 3 wires there for? Well, the reason I put these type mirror on this truck is something I always wanted to do. And if you look, right here's a light, and it faces towards the front of the truck. So anybody coming at the truck will be able to see this light. This light is not just a marker light like you'd see on some other trucks with lights on the mirrors. This light here is actually a marker light and a turn signal. And that's the reason for the 3 wires. White is ground, red is the high side, which would be turn signals, black is going to be the low side, which is marker lights. And I wired it up so that all works. And as you can see right here, coming out of the housing here, we have the 3 wires. And I got to connect them up, and those are heat shrink connectors. So once I crimp these together, I'll be able to heat shrink it down to protect it from the elements, because even though it's inside of here, it's still exposed because this is not a weather tight seal. Okay, as you can see here, I got all 4 screws in there. That one's a little hard to see down inside there, but it's in there. Now, one thing I did not mention, when you're doing this, you want to actually turn your mirror, the main mirror, in whatever direction that little tab is on. You want it to be sticking out. So that's something I already did. I already took the controls and turned this all the way in. So when I go to put this on, it'll be easier to get a hold of this. And as you can see in here, there's little tabs sticking out, and they go in these holes right here, all four. And then once you get this on, you just turn this and it locks it in place. So that way it cannot actually come off. So the hard part of this whole thing is once you get this main mirror back on is... Okay, I showed you about how to put this mirror on and turn in that piece, and I did it. I actually turned it before I mounted this on, which does make it a little bit easier. So mount this mirror, turn the little tab so it locks in, and then mount this, and that'll make it easier to get to that tab. But I mean, that's all there is to it, and it's fairly easy and quick. And I was telling you about how that's a turn signal, and I'm not going to get up there and turn the marker lights on, but as you can see, it flashes with the rest of them. I had to wire it in to do that, and there's actually a wire going from that into the turn signal, and then I have a wire for the marker light coming off of that and going down to the marker lights down here. And the reason I did that is because these older KWs work off of ground instead of providing intermittent power, so it turns power on when you activate a system. On these older KWs, the systems always have power, they just don't always have a ground like the older Chevys did. So I had to do a little bit of figuring out and wiring it into a marker light on the front bumper to make that marker light work up there where the turn signal is on that mirror. And I do have one on each side. I only have the left turn signal on right this moment, as you may be able to tell. But I did that so nobody can say they didn't see a turn signal, because especially at night with all these LEDs, if I'm trying to make a turn, even if they don't see the ones down here, they're going to see the ones on the mirror, because they light things up rather well. And all but 2 lights on the outside of this truck are all LEDs. The only ones that are not, that are still incandescents, are the ones here on the side of the bumper. And the reason I did that is so the flasher would still work. Because if I put all LEDs out here on the turn signals, the flasher would not work. So that's the reason I did that. But that's how simple that is to replace that. Unfortunately, if you hit anything, you're going to break it. And I think they're like 60 bucks. But of course, when a car cuts you off and you wind up hitting a tree and the car keeps going, the money's coming out of your pocket. So that's going to be the end of this video. Please subscribe and hit that bell and button and all that so you can see more videos when I put them up. And I do apologize for not making these smaller videos that I thought that it was too simple to make a video of, but I was actually educated today and yesterday on a couple simple things. I just went down yesterday evening and this afternoon. I had a couple people call me. One yesterday, all it was just the prongs on a plug on a tail light. I needed a little bit of squeezing, and that fixed that problem. The one today, it just needed an airline cut and a compression fitting coupler put in. But that educated me, telling me, hey, not everybody has the same experience I do. So I'm going to start trying to make these videos on simple things like this also. So you all have a better day. Thank you.